Howdy, hey folks. Welcome back to the Wednesday Word. Good to see you. Hope that your April's ending up really well. I'm actually speaking at Ball State next week for the Digital Marketing Summit that the marketing department's putting on. And so I'm prepping my presentation right now, and I'm working on one aspect that we're going to talk about, which is developing the character you want to talk to. And I was recently inspired by this documentary I saw the weekend covering Hans Zimmer. So if you don't know who Hans Zimmer is, he's a composer for Hollywood, done big films like The Lion King, The Dark Knight. But one thing that really stuck out to me when they were talking with him is how do you find, the motivation, the inspiration? How do you develop? Who do you develop this music for? And he has this really particular persona, I guess you can call it, he's developed called Doris. And he goes through and talks for about like a minute and a half about how Doris is a single mother in Brighton who's on her feet 12 hours a day working. And when she needs a break from the kids, she goes to the movies and wants to get immersed in this world. And he has this really well-developed, built narrative around who Doris is and why he writes for her. And as I thought about how Hans uses that in his work, I think about the work we do in marketing. We talk a lot about personas, but usually a lot of companies or marketers stop at like the demographics or data. It's, Jenny is a 35-year-old marketing manager from a mid-sized company, XYZ. Maybe some psychographics are starting to add up in there a little bit more around, pain points and frustrations. But I don't think we necessarily have that really understanding of the lived experience that Hans talks about with Doris. The way that he speaks about this fictional character he's created based on an archetype, that you can tell he believes fully who this person is and why he's building this music for them. And I think in marketing, we're still missing a lot of that. It's still just really a surface level. We haven't really dug into the lived experience of who we're writing for and the character we want to create and portray in our work. So the exercise I'm going to use with the students next week, which you can use too, is a lot more research and active listening into who you want to create your stuff for and why they need to hear it. Like, what about your stuff is fulfilling a need in their lived experience? So, instead of stopping at those demographic data pieces, it's digging into online forums, digging into where people are talking, social media. If you have an industry conference to go to, going there and just listening, right? Listening to people, asking them questions and just listening without trying to sell them something or pitch them anything or dig into the sales side of it. Just listen to them and see what they have to say. And I think if you can start empathizing with them on that personal level, that lets you start building that set of lived experiences you can bring to the content you want to create. So that's going to be a task I give to students here next week. But one that you can take with you as well is pick 3 to 5 sources here and go do some of this primary and secondary research and just listen. Listen to people, ask those questions, be curious and engage. Because that's where you're really going to start building that kind of full, complete persona that people will understand. So I think that's where to start with it. So I'm excited to go talk to the students on Monday. But hopefully this helps shed a bit more light around how to find your Doris, how you can create a persona that's more than just that demographic data. So looking forward to talking to you guys again soon. Thanks so much.